Hey everybody, it's Lance Dunn here with Keller Williams, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about the specifics of the home buying process, which is the actual offering. Now, when an offer is submitted or received on a property that's for sale, either from the buyer side or received on the seller side, one of the pieces of the offer that should always be included is a pre-approval letter. The pre-approval letter lets the seller know that the buyer has spoken to a mortgage professional and that they are actually qualified to purchase their home. The reason that's important to a seller is because it lets them know that the buyer has done their homework, they've talked to a mortgage professional who's told them that they are qualified to purchase a property within a specific price range. Now, where the question comes up is that a lot of times buyers are making offers on properties that they are more than qualified to purchase. For example, if the buyer is making an offer on a $500,000 house, but they're qualified to purchase something up to $600,000, what is it that they're going to put on the pre-approval letter? Now, there's two ways to handle this, and there's pros and cons to both scenarios. Scenario number one is that you have the lender write on the pre-approval letter the exact amount for the offer that you're writing. So in the previous example, if you're making an offer on a $500,000 house and you're qualified for up to $600,000, you actually have the lender write $500,000 on the letter. Now, the reason that buyers like to do this is because they feel like they don't want to show all their cards. So if there's a round of negotiating, they don't want the sellers to know that they're pre-approved for way more than they're actually writing the offer for. The flip side to that is if you write the pre-approval letter for the full amount that you're qualified for, it lets the seller know that you're not at the outer fringes of what you can actually qualify for. The reason why that's important is because if a seller feels like the buyer who's trying to buy their house is really stretching, they know that that buyer may be a little bit risky, because if something happens later on down the road, they may not be able to qualify if there's a hiccup in something along the process of their obtaining of the mortgage process moves along. For example, there are scenarios where buyers are trying to make a purchase of a house and they decide that they're going to go out and buy a car in the midst of buying the house. Now, that sets off all kinds of alarm bells for lenders. And a lot of times, it disqualifies the buyer from being able to financially afford the house that they want. Sellers know this, so they don't always want to get involved with a buyer who's really stretching. So on one side, buyers don't want to show all their cards, but on the flip side, sellers want to know that the buyers are well qualified. But buyers are a little bit afraid that if they show the seller all of their cards, that it might induce the seller to say, hey, you can afford more for the house, so why don't you pay more for the house? And that's a realistic concern for some people, because sometimes things like that do happen. So what I tell sellers when I'm working with them is that when you have an offer in your hand, you should be judging the offer on the market value of your home. How does your house compare with the other houses in the area? Because what you should be looking at is market value for your house, and is the offer that you're receiving a fair offer? Is it, when I say fair, I mean, is it fair in relation to what the other houses are selling for around you? That's what a seller should judge the offer on, market value, not how much the buyer is able to qualify for. So that pretty much sums up what I'm trying to say here. There's really a couple different ways you can look at it, and when buyers are trying to figure out which way to go with their offers, when I'm working with them, I say, well, here's the pros and here's the cons. Make your decision based on how you feel the most comfortable. As long as you're comfortable with the way that you're making an offer on a house, then that's the best way to do it. So that's all for today's video. I hope you found it informative. If you liked it, click like. Don't forget to click subscribe on my channel, and check out my website at lancedunn.com. Look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.